How is everybody doing today? My name is Andrea. This is Geeky Girls Journal. It's been a minute. So, welcome in, everybody. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Um, Glad to be back. I'm glad that you all are still here, and welcome to all the new subscribers. So, in my title, I have today, sometimes you just need a reset, right? Sometimes you just need a reset. And let me check this to make sure that we are. Good morning, old lady Sky. How are you today? Can you hear me all right? Let me turn this up. Turn my mic up. Turn my mic up. Hey, turn my mic up. So, all right, old lady Sky. So, yeah. Oh, my goodness. It's been a week. It's been a week, but blessed nevertheless. Um, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be alive. Glad to be. Let me try to get everything set up. Sky, sorry. Sky, how's your day going today? Good morning. Good morning. So I'm glad to be here. Glad to be alive. Thank you, Sky. Okay, glad to be alive. Glad to just be, right? And I set that title. Sometimes you have to just reset because I've been learning this week that it is okay to reset. I've had to reset. Hey, Bud Files, how you doing? So I just kind of want to take this one. Uh-oh, let's reconnect. Hold on one second. Okay, hopefully that does not happen again, but I'm here. So yeah, we're going to talk about resetting. And sometimes in life, you are required to reset. And I figured that out this week. Well, I figured it out before, but I just implemented it this week because it wasn't my doing, but it was. I realized that God put me on a reset, and it's not something that I voluntarily did. It was just like, okay, things were happening, and it just seemed like things was happening one thing after the other, right? Just one thing after the other. This happened, that happened. It started out with my kids having like delays because of the snow, and then the delays turned into cancellations. I'm going here, there, and everywhere, and then, just things happening throughout my life this week. And it put me in a position where I had to stop and refocus, and I had to decide what's important. And that is what I'm going to talk about today, because sometimes we have to make those tough decisions, and it may not be a tough decision for some, but some people might feel like it's a tough decision. So for me, it was a decision where I had to give myself permission to slow down, right? Give myself permission to slow down and say, it's okay. You have other things you need to accomplish, and you need to prioritize what it is that's important right now in this moment. And I can remember listening to this lady, her name is Mel Robbins, if any of you have ever heard of her. And she was saying, hi, Manjeet, how are you? Good morning. And I remember her saying this was a podcast I was listening to years ago, her saying that everything cannot be urgent. Everything is not important. You have to pick that thing that's important and do that thing. And you have to pick something that is going to make a difference and do that thing. All the other things, they can wait. Or you can delegate those things. You're from India? Great. Good to see you. So those things you have to learn to delegate, or you have to learn how to put things into perspective and say, this is what's most important in my life right now. I need to take care of that. So for me, I have this thing where I think, and it keeps me in alignment with where I want to be priority wise. So I say God, family, then business, right? So that helps me to put things into order, put things into perspective. I categorize them, and then um, I'm able to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, right? And this is the direction I need to go. Give me one second, you all. Forgot to share this. So I forgot which direction. And then I had to reprioritize and say, okay, you know what you're doing right now and the thing that you chose is not that important. It is not urgent. Think about what it is right now that you need to do and do it. Hi, Charm and Tracy. How are you this morning? Hey, Emma. Thank you all for coming in. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Share this out with somebody else who you think wants to be a part of this, because we're going to have a great time. Let me see. Join me now. There we go. And I'll do that because I know that some of our friends like to see us. So, hey, Mr. Terry, how you doing? Okay, I missed something. Grand Rising, how are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I was just talking about resetting, Mr. Terry, so I had to take some time away from this. Okay, I'm going to backtrack after I read old lady Scott's comment. I'm taking a mental health break from YouTube and Facebook and everything. I can't post anything for 3 months. I went for EPO and I went to court. So, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Well, take that much needed time. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about, old lady Sky. So thank you for sharing that. And not because we want to be in your business, but because that's what this live is about, taking the time that you need. And I know Mr. Terry often says in this live, people understand you have a life and you have things to do. So, those people who are really supporting you, they'll still be here. They'll come back, right? Those people who are true supporters of you, Scott, they will come back. They understand. People need mental health breaks. People have lives outside of this. So for me, I had to make the decision. Is it important for me to show up on social media more, or is it important for me to do the things in my family and in my household that are necessary right now? And I'm always going to choose God first, family second, right? I'm going to choose. That's my order. So that keeps me, where I should be. And I had to prioritize. I had other things that were more important. So this had to be the sacrifice. I come back when I'm able to come back. Good morning, everyone, from Tracy. Please hit reset is necessary. Absolutely necessary. Absolutely. Mr. Terry said, reminder viewers and subscribers of this YouTube channel, please set an alarm on your cell phone for each of these wonderful, informative, entertaining YouTube live stream broadcasts. Thank you, Mr. Terry. Thank you for saying that. Please reply. Okay. Yeah, so just know that it is okay that if you need to step away from something, it's all right to do that, because I feel like I'm energized. I have a different perspective. I'm able to, like I said, prioritize those things that need to happen right now. Right now. And those things that are most important in my life, I had to figure it out. What is it that I need to have done right now? And I did it. And I was able to tackle lots of those things this week, because I didn't spend my time, on other people's platforms, like social media platforms. I spent my time doing things in my household. I spent my time doing things for others that I love. I spent my time traveling. I spent my time doing so many different things and working on my small business, which I feel like I have been putting, a lot of the things that are necessary on the back burner. So I'm glad that God slowed me down and, reminded me that it's okay. And also, this is the best thing. Hey, awesome Alan, how are you doing? And also, the best thing was I was able to spend more time with God. Like that, the time that I normally take where I'm doing a lot of work on the back end with social media, I was able to, read more Bible verses and, well, actually more chapters, right? I was just reading lots of chapters, spending more time with God, trying to have a more sensitive ear to what He wants me to do. And while I am still on a journey, still trying to learn and still trying to figure out exactly where He wants me in this season, I feel like I'm getting more answers and more clarity, because I was able to, kind of slow down for a second and take a deep breath. And in fact, in my devotionals, it's kind of funny. A lot of them, every time I read the devotional, it said, stop, take a deep breath, and, spend this time with God. Good. Hey, awesome Alvin, how you doing? And it said, stop, take a deep breath, and, allow yourself to be present in the moment with God. And so, yeah, I feel like I was able to do that this week. I haven't been able to do a lot of that because I just run, run, run. So slowing down actually gave me the time to, do more studying and more listening. And I'm going to do some more of that. I'm going to do some more of that. Thank you for dropping your link. Awesome, Alvin. I see you, GGJ. So how are you all doing this Friday? How are you all doing this Friday morning? Let me see. How are you? How are you? I am, well, as I said before, I am probably not going to be on here that long, because I do have other things. I have some things that I need to get done as well as the live today. So I don't have a lot of time just to kind of sit here. Hi, Picky Foodie, how are you? But I do want to welcome everybody in. I do want to check people out because in church Sunday, that was something that was important. I was listening to my pastor. Hello, Amal. Welcome in. Thank you all. Hit the like button if you haven't done that. I was listening to my pastor on Sunday, and he hit some really, some. He gave us some statistics, right, that I didn't know, and I wanted to share one of them with you all. And oh, I just have to try to remember what it is. I have to remember because I thought I was going to type it down, but I didn't. So resetting. Sometimes you have to reset, and so one of the things he was talking about was, people and how now a lot of people are experiencing, being lonely and not feeling like people know them, right? They're not feeling like people know them the way that they want them to know them, or they don't feel like people know them well. So it was interesting to me that it said 54%. I'm pretty sure that was his. I'm gonna I'm gonna type it in so I can make sure I'm giving you the right stats. I think it was 54% of people felt like nobody knew them well. 54% of people. Let me see. I'm gonna type it in so I can make sure I'm telling you all the right percentage. Okay, so it's 54%. That's over half of Americans. So it's according to multiple surveys that they did. And 54% of the people said that they feel like nobody knows them well, right? And 54% says sometimes or they always feel this way. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Hey, I was actually going to call you today. Hey. So I'll get to that later. But yeah, 54%. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm doing great. My personal health update is on my YouTube channel, community tab post. Thank you, Mr. Terry, because I know you had surgery, so or you had another visit since the last time I saw. So I hope everything's well, and thank you for coming in today and moderating for me because I have a whole bunch of thoughts today. I'm trying not to share all of them at one time because I just came back. So I don't want to overwhelm anybody, but hey, everybody. So it said 54% of Americans felt like people didn't know them well. And I thought that, man, that's a lot. But that just goes to show you how many people feel like they're not making those connections, because if 54% of people feel like nobody knows them well, I should do a poll. If 54% of the people feel like nobody knows them well, then that means some people are experiencing, could be experiencing depression, could be experiencing, just being lonely and maybe feeling unloved. So if that statistic is correct, and it says it was multiple surveys, then I don't know. We were talking about resetting, and a pastor was talking about radical hospitality. So what I got out of him talking about radical hospitality is doing something uncommon, like uncommon kindness, going out of your way to do things for people, or maybe it's something you do all the time. You may be that type of person that you see somebody and you recognize that they need help or they need a hug, right? Or they need a kind word, and you might just see them and step in. You might have discernment and say, you know what, that person looks like they're having a bad day. I want to just go say something nice to them. So you go over there and say something nice. And you will be surprised, as we've said before in these lives, you'll be surprised at how many people, just need somebody to come and say hi to them, or just need somebody to come say something nice, like, hey, your hair looks great, or need them to give them a kind word or words of encouragement. And I believe that feeds the soul. Like when you have somebody who is intentional enough to say, I'm doing something right now, maybe they're ordering some coffee, and you because as a society we're always running, we're moving quickly. So for somebody to stop what they're doing in their day to go and acknowledge somebody else, I think is cool. It's something to be said about that. So you stop and you go give that person a word of encouragement, and now you've done something to uplift that person. So what do you all think about that? Do you think that's something that like you typically do? I should probably put a survey, because some of you are not going to feel comfortable answering that in the chat. So I will just try to figure out how to write it in the survey. And then you can just answer it in a survey because you know how I like my surveys anyway. In the meantime, um, let's see what the chat says. It's me, Charlie. Hi, Loki, Ari. Okay, Frankie, Willow, and Co. Hi, hi, how you doing? It's me. Oh, hey, Claire. Hey, Claire, darling, you changed your name. Hi, Tracy. I was getting bullied, so I had to. Oh, yep. Okay, man. What? Oh my goodness. I'm glad you. Well, good job. Yeah, we don't allow. We don't like that bullying stuff, Claire. So you did the right thing. You did the right thing. I feel like there are very little people that know me well, including relatives. Yes, people need that because sadly they don't get it. Absolutely right. And you know what? Hey, Chris, how you doing? That's so true. It's probably more of you than that are really in the chat that but may not feel comfortable saying that. But at 54%, like I said, that's over half Americans. People feel like they don't know more, and that's a true statement. Like, how many people can you really go to that may be your family or your friends, or let's just say something that's real intimate, family members? How many people can you really go to and tell everything about you? Like, they know everything about you. You feel comfortable sharing everything that you've ever done in your life. You feel comfortable sharing every secret, every desire, everything that you wouldn't feel comfortable sharing with somebody. I mean, you just tell them everything. It's probably not many people that can say that. So I'm sure that some things are, so you keep a lot of these things to yourself because you feel like you can't tell everybody. And maybe it's just because, I don't know, do you feel like we've lost something along the way, or has it always been that way? Has it always been that people just feel like they're not comfortable with others, or nobody knows them? Like, you might have somebody who's intimate. Some of us may feel like our spouse doesn't even know us all the way, right? Or some of us may feel like, we have siblings that don't even know us. True, transparency is rare. Exactly. Only God. Let me go back up. Okay, those are my notifications going off. Good morning. I'm gonna pray for all y'all. Pray for everybody. You should, Claire. Go ahead. Pray for everybody. Jesus. Yep. Good morning, Joe and Sue. None. D. Yep. Pray for everybody. Only God. Only God. Only God knows. And that's the thing. If only God knows, and you feel like you can't even go to a close family member to tell certain things to, you may share certain information with. But I think we talked about this earlier too in the live, where you can talk to certain people about certain things. Wouldn't it be awesome if you just had at least one or two people, and you may, right? You may. I do. If you had at least one or two people that you could just tell any and everything to, and then they wouldn't come to you, they wouldn't judge you, they wouldn't look at you side eyed, they wouldn't be like, "Ooh, that's weird," or "That's crazy." Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could just share all those things with somebody, and then that way you wouldn't feel alone. Then you wouldn't feel like you have nobody. And I think when I was looking up this stat, it was pretty interesting too that it says a significant portion of the population reports feeling like they lack deep connections where someone truly understands them. And it says this information comes from surveys conducted by organizations like Cigna and Ipsos. I never heard of Ipsos, but that's what it's saying, which measure loneliness and relationship depth. So okay, Cigna is an insurance company, so they probably were using information from like their mental health statistics, so how many people utilize those services, and I'm sure this other company does the same. So this is the data that we're given, 54%. That's a lot of people. This data highlights the prevalence of feelings of isolation and the lack of meaningful connections among many individuals. What's up? Hey, Mars. I do. I'm blessed. Yes, that's a blessing. It is a blessing to have people like that in your life, because for those people who do not have it, I don't know. I just wonder, what do you do? Where do you go? Do you just go, just contain all of that, everything that you're feeling? Do you just keep it inside, or do you go to God? Like, let me see. Let me do my poll. Let me go back to the thing and do my poll. Hey, Mustafa. How you doing, Mustafa? Hey, Andrew, how are you? It's been long since I watched you. I hope all is good at your end. It's been a long time, long since you watched me, and it was probably the same amount of time that I haven't been here because I didn't come in all this week. This is my first time coming in today, Friday. And I forgot to text my mama. So she might be like, and she would text me every day, all day, saying, "Are you going live today? Are you going live?" I'm like, no. But like I said, it was because of snow days. And also, I thought it was because of snow days and, all the inconveniences that were happening. Like, it's just stuff happening, one thing after the other. And I thought that's what it was. But what I really realized was it was God's way of slowing me down, because otherwise I wouldn't have stopped and taken time to do those things that I needed to do. So I'm actually grateful that I had this week to be off, because it was nothing that I planned. In fact, I kept trying to come in and do lives. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it at this time. I'm like, nope, gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I have to make a phone call. I gotta do this. I kept trying to come in. I even kept trying to come in and do pop-up lives. And I was doing activities and just here, there, and everywhere. And then I sat down the other day and I was like, Andrea, you are in such a rush to get back to this, right? Social media, because I feel that it's definitely something that a part of what I'm called to do. But also I realized I'm like, it's okay if I cannot be there every day. It's okay if I can't be there every day, Monday through Friday, right? That's okay. It's all right to take a break. Yes, rest. That's right. Thank you, Star. It is okay to take a break. It's okay to pause and to reset and to take the time that you need to bounce back. And I was pushed into that this week. Like, it was outside of my control. And that's why I was like, okay, I know God wants me to take a break, because I kept trying to do things and I kept trying to do this and do that. And it just was not materializing. It was like, okay, no, you need to stop and recognize that I'm telling you to slow down. And he was definitely telling me to slow down and, you know, take this time to pause and refigure things, remind myself of my priorities and rest. There, I know you can rest. I keep seeing that. Rest, rest, rest. You look beautiful. Thank you, Kenneth. That's nice. Journaling is where I started. That's good, because that's what I need to start doing more of. Geeky Girls Journal list. Oh, it's talking about the mask we put to have relationship with each person in your life. We must remember no one in our life will ever know all 100% of us. God knows, I know. I'm the people in our life, they probably won't. I mean, unless you're transparent and open enough to tell them everything. And it also would depend on that relationship with that person, I guess. Listen to your father. He knows best. Yep, he sure does. He sure does. And I'm like, you know what? It was for my own good. It was definitely for my own good to rest. And when I'm saying rest, I didn't get a lot of sleep rest. I'm talking about rest, like not doing social media. You are, to be honest with you, just like not doing social media, that was a load off in itself. Can I be honest and transparent for a moment? Let me just tell you all. I'm gonna just, because I like to be honest with you. It's good that you relax and have fun. Well, I went through a lot. My God, you did too. Oh, were you able to get any clarity, Mustafa, or like what did you do? Because I'm interested. Geeky Girls Journal. You all, this is the topic. So chime in as you will. You all are chiming in already. And so just chime in. It's real chill, real. This is what we're doing today. Geeky Girls Journal is talking about having ecclesiastic moments in your life. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Mr. Terry. You're the bomb. I'm glad we're connected, everybody. Woo! I'm telling you, please read the Holy Bible, Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1, 8. Oh, I like all those hearts going over there. Oh, is this a heart? Keep them going, keep them going. I guess YouTube likes it, so I guess I like it. A time and a season for everything under the sun. It's okay to have a selfish season in your life, a season all about you. Well, it's like, it's not, it ain't, it's okay. It should be all about me, but it's not. It's not. It is not all about me, Mr. Terry. It's about me. I'm doing stuff for family members. I'm doing stuff, just stuff that I kind of shelled, but then I was like, okay, it's time to pick it up. And then new things, like just a lot of new things were happening. This popped up, that popped up, and I'm like, okay, now I got to go address this situation. Now I need to address that. Hey, Kevin. Hey, how you doing? Word up, Kevin. Hey, thank you for sharing it on Reddit. Yeah, so Ecclesiastes moments are a time in the day where you meet your personal needs and personal wants. Not having Ecclesiastes moments will cause a decline in physical health and mental health. Very good point. Something we should definitely consider, right? Definitely should consider that when we're doing things. And ooh, I don't know if it's a glare or something, but if you all see me doing that with my eyes, the sun is hitting me in the face. But if you can see me fine, we're all right. But family is an extension of you. Yes, it is. Thanks for the reminder. Definitely an extension of me. And yep, so I had to take care of things, y'all. Got to take care of things. You know what? And the thing is, I'm one of those people when things pop up, I have to do it right now. Like I have to do it right now because number one, I don't want to forget to do it. And number two, I want to get it taken care of. I want to get it taken care of as soon as possible. I don't like to wait 25 more minutes. I don't want to wait until the next day. I just want to do it right now. So that's what I found myself doing. Something popped up, I jump right on top of it. Okay, I need to do that. And I'm saying that it was a good thing I was not on social media this week because I was able to address things as they were coming, as they were coming up. And if I was here doing lives for hours, I would not have been able to jump right on top of tasks and jump right on top of things as they were happening. And I like to be more proactive. I don't like to procrastinate. I want to get on it, get it done, and then, get it taken care of. Good morning, Tuber Chat, Mr. Terry. Keeps procrastination at bay. Yeah. Yeah. Like jumping on top of things right away. If you do that, if you jump right on, well, me, I can't speak for everybody else, but if I jump right on top of something, then I won't procrastinate. If I don't do it right away, it lingers and I'm like, oh, I didn't do this, I got to do that. Let me do this first, then I'll do that. Then I'm like, then sometimes I might forget about it. So yeah, I try not to. I try to do it as soon as the opportunity or the problem. I try to handle something as soon as the problem presents itself, right? Or the situation presents itself. And like I said, it was some of that. So I was like, listen, I need to just jump on it right now and do it. Today I have a little bit more of that to do, but I have a little time to be here with you all today. So that's what I'm doing. And then I'll do the other stuff. I'm going through a severe depression and anxiety. New academic term has started in my school and I wasn't able to meet certain deadlines. My head took away some of the subjects from me, not liking it. Oh, oh, Mustafa, sorry to hear that. But you go, all right. I don't, you know what? So I'm not, I know I cannot diagnose anybody. I won't ever try to do that. But do you think taking, let me see, okay, you said the head took away some of the subjects. Well, sounds like you are doing from what I'm reading, it sounds like you've already taken, like, you're trying to make your load a little bit lighter, is what I think you're saying. And that's a good step. Geeky Girls Journal. Please remember there are two things that a person can do with your help. Use your help as a bridge, take personal responsibility, use your help as a crutch. Hubby and I just did a vision board. It helps to remind you of immediate goals and yeah, that's something I need to do. I have not done that ever before yet. And I always think it always sounds lovely in my brain. Like, oh, I should do a vision board. I'm gonna do it this way, that way, decorate it and really get involved in it. And I haven't done one yet. Personal responsibility. Mustafa's mom called me, ma'am. Call me Sana. I don't know how, I hope I'm saying your name right. Sana. Okay, let me see. Your daughter was trying to remember her name, then I may be able to know how to say your name. So I apologize if I'm saying your name incorrectly. That was something I was doing today in the Bible. I was reading these names in Genesis, and you all know in the Bible, if you read the Bible, you see these names that are just names that look impossible. And I was trying to read the names, and then I started realizing, I should do a video about this. I think I will. I started realizing it doesn't have to be that I have to get the name properly. Like, I can try to say it the best way I know how. But I was so focused on pronouncing the name right that I was spending a lot of time trying to pronounce the name right. And I'm like, okay, don't get stuck on trying to pronounce the name right, because that person's name should be pronounced correctly, right? But is that something I should be really worried about when I'm reading the Bible? Trying to pronounce the person's name? Because I was really getting fixated. I'm sitting here like, okay, maybe I should make a chart. I want to look at the way that you say it correctly. I'm looking at it on the internet. I'm like, how do you pronounce this word? And I was like, wait a minute. Now this is a distraction because it's really getting me away from what I'm supposed to be doing. That's reading the Bible. So I stopped. I was like, let me not try to focus on getting everybody's name correct, because that's not even what's important. Let's try to read the Bible, right? So I was like, the Bible is more important. Don't worry about the names and how to say it. Pronounce the name the best way you can and move on. Don't sit there and linger on trying to say the name. This is what I find myself doing in this chat a lot of times. Like, let me make sure I say this person's name right. I want to say people's names right, but sometimes I just, I don't. You're not in front of me saying telling me how to say your name properly. So I'm gonna say it the best way I can say it. Is what I'm getting at, and apply that same thing in the Bible. Because if you're like me and you like try to get things the right way, then you might sit there and struggle for a minute, but God was like, what are you doing? Like, read the chapter. Read the chapter. Stop worrying about how to say this name right. Is that going to really make a difference in your life? And I was like, no, it's not. Correct. Let me move on. So, hala, Sana. Oh my gosh. I'm saying that my head, I'm saying that, let's see, Mustafa's mom. Please remember, respect is more than an Aretha Franklin song. Phonetics are helpful, but don't be hard on yourself with biblical pronunciation. They come from another language. Yeah, they do. And that's what I finally realized. It clicked. I was like, I'm sitting here trying to really get this name. And I'm not from that time. I'm not even from, it's a different language. It just sounded real crazy when I was trying to say the name. So I stopped and I was like, you know what, let me just read it the best way I can. It was this one that was like Mashallah. I'm gonna tell you all what the name was. And I was like, what in the I had never heard this name before. Um, but I'm gonna tell you okay, it started with an M. It's like Mashallah. Oh, here it is right here. It's Maher Maher. Okay, here we are. Maher Shalal Hashbaz. Maher Shalal Hashbaz. And I was sitting here like, okay, I hope I'm saying the name right. I was like, why are you so worried about saying that name right? Move on, girl. So I did. But okay, let's see. I'm saying that my head mistress has taken away some of the subjects for me. Well, can you do it later, Mustafa? Is it something that you can do later? Like if she's taking the subjects and just lightens your load, is it something that you can come back and do later? Or is it something that you cannot do? Because if it's something you can do later, then why are you worried about that right now? I'm just asking a question. And you know, we must remember respect, okay? They don't, okay. Please remember if a person can't respect your no, they don't deserve your yes. I agree. No, ma'am, my apologies. I'm not asking you to take my name properly. I just wanted to tell you that who is conversing with you. It's okay, darling. You can pronounce it anyway. No. That's not a shout. That's not a shot. Oh, I shouldn't say shot. That wasn't directed to you, Mustafa's mom. That was just me saying when I was reading the Bible earlier. That was me saying when I was reading the Bible earlier, I was so focused on trying to say those names properly that it took me out of what I was really supposed to be doing, which was getting an understanding of the Bible. And then I had to snap out of it. I was like, wait a minute, you are too focused on saying this name right. And it was just kind of an analogy where I try to do this in the same thing in the chat where I see a name and I don't really know how to pronounce it. And I will sit there and try to say that name however long it takes for me to get the name. So it was not directed to you. So but thank you for the clarity. I do like to pronounce people's name properly, but sometimes I just don't get it right. I just don't get it right. So hopefully people don't take offense to that. I don't. If somebody says my name improperly or says it improperly, doesn't pronounce it right, okay. I'm still gonna go on another day. It's not gonna change, my life by a second, a minute, an hour. I'm still gonna be here as long as God want me to be here, so it doesn't bother me. What up, Lula? Hey, Lula, did you do any burpees today? Are you? I know you at work, Lula. I know you at work, Lula. I was working on my website. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I didn't even create the template or anything. I'm just on there trying to rearrange things and put stuff in order and in places. And I'm like, I told you if I get stuck though, I'm gonna ask you some questions, Lula. So get ready. Satan comes in many disguises to keep you from digesting God's word. Yep. Sure enough. And that's what it was. So I was like, okay, no, girl, you got to realize it's the enemy. And I was like, you need to now, then now this might sound crazy, but in order to feel like, okay, I had to put more time into it, I just made myself read 4 more chapters. So I was like, okay, now you got to read 4 more chapters. And in my devotion, because I started doing this Bible plan, I think I told you all, I started doing this Bible plan, this 365-day Bible plan, because a lot of times, like I would try to do it in the past and I wouldn't complete it because that's not the way that I read the Bible. I don't usually read the Bible from the beginning all the way to the end. Like I've tried to do that before. And what I realize is that, people say, hey, I've read the Bible from the beginning to the end 25 times. But do you know what it says? Like, do you understand it? So for me, I've if I have read the Bible from cover to cover, it's only been 1 or 2 times, right? I don't really make it a practice to say, ooh, I've read the Bible from beginning to end, or I don't try to make myself look a certain way by saying, hey, I've read the Bible from Genesis to Revelations 25 times. That's not really my thing. I know I've heard people say that, like, I've read the Bible from cover to cover 25 times, and I don't know if it's like this thing where it's supposed to make you look like you're, holy or not holy or whatever. I just read the Bible for understanding. I skip around a lot. To be honest with you, I don't go in order. Like I read the Bible, I skip around. I read this chapter and then I might find myself in a completely different book because I've read a verse and then I'm like, okay, let me see what the corresponding verse says about this. And I'll read it and I'll find myself in another verse. It might be in a completely different book of the Bible, completely different chapter. I might have been in the front of the book, now I'm in the back of the book, right? Or I might have been in the front of, I might have been in Genesis, now I'm in Revelations because I went down this hole after I read something. I'm like, I wonder what this means. Now, instead of me just reading the Bible for the sake of saying I'm reading it from Genesis to Revelation, I really just read it so that I can better understand it. So if I see something in Ephesians, for example, and I have a question, now I'm looking to just find that answer. The answer might be found in James. It's not in order. We all know Ephesians is not by James, but I'm just looking because I want to get a better understanding. I want to study it. I want to do a deep dive in the word. I don't care about reading it in order, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, blah, blah, blah. I don't, that thing does not motivate me to read the Bible. What motivates me to read the Bible is I want to learn more about it. I want to answer questions. If I have questions, I want to move through it and say, okay, I have this question. I'm going to find out the question. I'm going to find out the answer to this question. And it may not be, it's not going in order all the time. Like it's going to be me finding the question. I might find it in a whole nother chapter, right? Or I go to try to find the answer to that question. I might have another question. So now I'm looking, trying to figure out the answer to that one. So it's just a whole lot of figuring it out. Yes, real life applications. Let me see. I'm sure you said something else too, Star. Let me keep going up. No burpees yet, but shell later. Okay. All right, Lula. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll do what I can to help. All right, I'm sure you will too. I feel like, is this screen dark, you all? Because this seems dark over here when I'm looking at it. That's why I bought the chronological Bible. It's the bomb. That's what my 365-day plan is in chronological order. Because I was like, I don't want to read it just for the sake of like, I read from Exodus to Revelation. Like I've never been that type. That's why I couldn't do it that way. And I've done the chronological order before. I didn't finish it. This time I plan to finish it. And I'm reading it and I started, now I'm in Genesis, like end of Genesis. But it jumped from Genesis, then went to Job, then went back to Genesis. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what's next. So I was reading about Abraham and Lot this morning. And there's some stuff I guess I forgot, when I read the story because I didn't realize that Abraham and Lot had so much stuff that this is why they divided. I think I just forgot this detail that they divided because one of the reasons they divided and went their separate ways was because they had so many things. They had so many possessions. Abraham had so many possessions. Lot had a whole lot of possessions, and they didn't have enough space for the both of them. They had their possessions in this one particular area they were in. So Abraham was like, in order for us not to fight and not to get into arguments because we're relatives, I love you, I don't want, we shouldn't be arguing. Let us split up. And he was like, anything you see to the north or the south or whatever that you want, then I'll take the opposite side. So Lot was looking, he saw, I think the area by the Jordan River. I think it was the Jordan River. He ended up by Sodom, right? in that area. So they went their separate ways. And then something happened. Then Abraham had to go rescue him. And so anyway, getting back on track. So I even stopped doing that. And I was like, oh, let me go. I was supposed to be going in order, right? Still listening to reading it in chronological order. But I've done this like every day since I started. I won't keep going in order. I'll stop. And then now I got to go find the answer to something I think about while I'm reading. And it always works that way for me. I get off track, not off track. That's not the right word to use. I don't get off track. I just want to do a deeper dive. So I have that question, then I just find it. I'm like, I'm searching through the Bible and I want to find the answer. Then now I'm like, okay, now I got to go back to the order that the Bible plan set out so that I can finish, once and for all. We can do this 365-day chronological order. And I do like it better. You're right about that, Star. It's not written in order so that will not help your understanding. I know, and it wasn't. It's called studying. You're doing it correctly. Yes. That's how I've always had to do it that way. Real life application, not dark at all. Okay, thank you, Lula. Absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you. So now I just finished that too. You did? Lot has a real interesting. Yes, man. That's who we could talk about that today. Lot and his story, man. Don't make me pull that Genesis out because I was like, ooh, this is getting interesting. Not to mention, okay, Abrams, because he was Abraham, then Abram. His obedience. I was like, man, okay, so it's a lot we can learn from this particular story about how he was obedient because God told him to go somewhere and he said he knew it was the voice of God. You know what? I'm about to, let me see. I have to pull it up. Y'all already know. You already know how this is going to happen. Let me go. I know it was around Genesis. I said Genesis 12. I'm trying to remember where I was. Genesis 12, maybe? Let me see. Oh, yep, it was Genesis 12. Boop, boop. Because I just read like 10 chapters in a row. And I was like, oh, wait, this getting good. Let me read this comment Mr. Terry has. Geeky Girls Journal, test your website on a computer and a new phone. Use the following web browsers. They will your website differently render. Firefox, Chrome, Blink, Safari. Thank you, Mr. Terry. Mr. Terry coming with all the information. Lot was a hot mess. He was driven by money, power, respect. That sound like that song, Money, Power, Respect. And you know what song I'm talking about. But yes, I was like, oh my goodness. Lot was a lot. That's what Lot was. He was a lot. Lot was a lot. Because I almost feel like I should read that part that I was reading in the Bible earlier. The Lord has said to Abram. Okay, so if you start in Genesis 12, everybody, I'm not gonna read it all because y'all can, you can read it in your time when God tells you to reset and rest and read and study his word because you got to study to show yourself approved. So it's Genesis 12. Start right there. Start at Genesis 12. It says it's the call of Abram. Right, so he already got his name changed right now. The Lord has said to Abram, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. Now, reading that one verse alone, tell me what you all think, because I'm going to tell you what I think about this. Star said, I found out why he offered up his daughter to those men outside his doors. Oh, why? I need to read that part. Because I remember that part, and I used to always wonder, like, why on earth would he give it? Why would he offer his daughters? Can you share it in the chat? Why would he offer his daughters? Because I'm a parent, and I'm like, why would that man have offered his daughters to them? But I know they were, I don't know. Can I say what I want to say online? Like, can we really go there? Because, back in the Bible day, I don't know if some people think homosexuality is a new thing or an old thing. And I'm trying to tread lightly because I don't know how not to be offensive when I say certain things because I'm just going to say what's in the Bible. That way you all are not going to be like, oh, Andrea is, whatever. Right. Because while I'm reading what I'm reading in the Bible and what I read back in the day in the Bible, okay, let me make sure I start and say something else. When I'm reading what I read in the Bible, I'm just like, ooh, if you all think, when you read it, it just sounds like some drama, right? It just sounds like some drama. It's juicy. So for those of you who say, I don't want to read the Bible, I don't, what's the Bible? The Bible's boring. Man, the Bible is not boring. The Bible is not boring. Maybe you should change your translation. That might help, because if you're reading it, the King James version, you might feel like it's boring. You might be like, I don't even understand what they're saying. What is thou, they? You might not get the language. So change your translation to NLT, NIV, the CEB, NIRV. All those are, pretty easy to read. Common English Bible. Read one of those, and then you will see that, the stuff that's happening right now is not anything new. It's not anything new. They had some things happening back there in the Bible day. Let's see, because he was concerned about his image among the people. He was a man of status and money, and it was more important than his own flesh and blood. Oh, now you know that. Now, see, you the star. Man, I wish I would have known. I sure would have had you on here today. But you might have to just send it loud, because I can't even add you on YouTube on the platform. But that's crazy, because he was a man. He was more concerned with his money and his power, right, and his status. And he was willing to give up his daughters. That now, if you're a parent, you can understand how weighty that statement really is. Because if you're willing to give up your child, like, because I always wonder, why would he do that? Like, why would he? It's like he presented them right on the platter, like, here are my daughters. And I was like, what? That's kind of weird. But that's a good point, Star. Oh, now I got to read some more. Please listen to the gospel song Handwriting on the Wall by the Sensational Nightingales. Please listen to the gospel song John the Revelator. Okay, John the Revelator. So you are the first verse, Genesis 12 and 1. First of all, it's two things I see right there. The Lord has said to Abram. So he recognized the voice of God. Because, in a couple of my lives, I'm always talking about being able to hear the voice of God, or knowing if it's God, or knowing if it's your own thoughts. Right here, he seems like he was pretty sure that it was the voice of God, because he said the Lord had said to, it says the Lord had said to Abram. So he knew it was the voice of God telling him to go from his country, because at first I'm like, man, that's a big risk that he's taking. Anybody who's, had to go to a new place, I'm sure you have some type of uncertainties, because you don't really know that area. Like, you may have heard some things about it. You may even know people who live there. You may have done research, well, as much research as you can, but you don't really know a place until you live there, right? You don't really know a place until you live there. So in this first verse, it says, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. So he was telling him basically to uproot himself, right? Go somewhere that's unknown, somewhere that he has no idea of anybody that's living there, because his household, his people were in that land that he's in right now. But God wanted him to move somewhere else that was unknown to him, right? He said, I'm going to show you. Oh, I just thought about something too. Sometimes you all know, like, when you are wondering, like, if God gives you something and you're wondering, how you should go about doing it and when it should be done. And you might have 500 questions like me. Lord, when? Lord, when is this going to happen? How do you want me to do it? What are the steps that I need to take? But then right here in verse 1, this might answer your question. Because Abram didn't even know. Abram didn't know where he was going. He didn't know anybody at this location. He didn't even know the house, because didn't he go pitch some tents and take his family and pitch tents and stuff like that? So he didn't even have a place to stay when he moved there. Like, he had to bring his own equipment. So it makes me think about, you when God asks you to do something, it's a lot of unknown. You have questions and you're looking for answers a lot of times. And you're like, God, what do I do and how do I do it? You just might be asking all the questions. But then right here it says, and God says, I will show you. So if he's saying, I will show you to Abraham, like, okay, go here. You don't know about this place. You don't have family. You don't have friends. You don't have connections. Like, how am I gonna make my money? Abram was probably like, well, how am I gonna survive, right? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? And he was like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna show you. So maybe that's the answer. God is going to show you. Right? You got to stop worrying. You got to stop trying to figure everything out. Like me, I will sit here and wreck my brain trying to figure out what to do, next step after step. Do this, do that, do that, do that, right? Do it this way, do it that way. If plan A doesn't work, do plan B. If plan B don't work, you got a plan C and a plan D. But right here it says, um, I will show you. God says, I will show you. But he also heard from God. So you got to make sure you hear from God. And then, so hear from God, receive it, and then God's going to show you. I sometimes am just stuck right there, you all. I'm not going to even lie to you. Sometimes I'm just stuck right there, like waiting on the God, show me what's the next step. I'm doing this step. What's the next step? I want to know ahead of time. But I can't know ahead of time. That's the problem. I can't know ahead of time. Maybe God's just like, girl, you don't need to know ahead of time because you're going to go do too much. You need to just pause it. That's why he had me reset this week. You need to just slow down. Let me handle this. So maybe you just got to have more faith and believe that God's going to work it out. He's going to show you when it's time. He's going to show you what to do when it's time. We don't know when the time is going to be all the time. I don't know when he's going to show me the next step. I'm just sitting here waiting, trying to be patient and trying to have faith. All those things at the same time. Couldn't be a difficult task sometimes, but God said, I will show you. And I don't know, perhaps I'm going to have to highlight this verse, underline it, circle it, all those things so that I can remember when I get into that mode where I'm stuck and I'm like, okay, I need to move. I'm going to move right now. And then God's like, nope, you need to wait for me, be patient. You in reset mode right now. I'm in reset mode. Some of you might be in reset mode and you understand completely what I'm talking about. You're in reset mode and you just like, I'm waiting patiently. I'm trying to wait patiently because you might not be as patient. You might not be waiting as patiently as you think, or as patiently, you might not be waiting as patiently as you need to be waiting. So you got to slow it down, right? Slow it down. Don't watch others while you're waiting because other people it might look like they're soaring. It might look like they're just going vertically, like boom, it looks like they're doing this while you doing this, right? And hitting some dips and swirls and loops and can't find your way, but God's gonna show you. You just gotta wait. Like this is you right now. Just looping and twirling and spinning and doing all this stuff. But he said, I'm gonna show you. God's timing is best. Yep. Yep, exactly. See, that's why I like it when my people's coming here. Still here in the background, just working. I know, Lula. Good job. Thank you, Lula. You see, hearing, you hear the word of God. That's all. You only got to be hearing it. You working and listening. The Holy Bible scriptures of the day, Genesis chapter 12. Yep, verse all. That's right, Mr. Terry. Mr. Terry said, look, I ain't going to put one through whatever. Mr. Terry hit us with verse all. That's right, because that's what it is, Mr. Terry, too. Star said, let's see, I missed a couple comments. There's the Nightingales. Love you, Andrea. You're my best friend. Your friendship means so much to me. That's so sweet, Chris. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that I mean a lot to you. That's so special. See? Chris that's radical hospitality. Look at that, radical hospitality. He didn't have to say that in the chat, but he did. Thank you, Chris. That was so sweet. And Lot chose that land because it was more urban and popular. Yeah. So that he could maintain his status. He had become ingrained in the culture of Sodom and Gomorrah. He knew the location was a bad one. Yeah, because I'm reading, I'm like, he knew that because it said that it was evil. Okay, now I'm gonna have to find it. Start if you know what that chapter is, because I know it had to be after 12. Let me see. He did know. I think it's. Let me look. He built an altar there. Abram in Egypt. Blah blah blah. Oh, wait a minute. Since we in chapter 12, what do you all think? Oh my goodness. What do you all think about Abram telling his wife, Sarah? What do you all think about him telling his wife to tell the Egyptians that was his sister? And some of you know, if you don't know, get your Bible out. We're still in chapter 12. We're still in chapter 12, and I'm gonna tell you what verse. Like go down to verse, because Abram was like, I know when we go to Egypt, they're gonna think you beautiful, and she's gonna have to basically rescue him because they would, do something to him. I can't say the word, but you all know what I'm saying. They would do something to him, so she had to kind of lie. They both lied. Like they had to lie and pretend that that was his sister and not his wife. And in doing that, he gained a lot of stuff. He gained possessions. Genesis 19:8 for Lot and his daughter offering. Okay, let me see. God's time is best. So I'm gonna go to that too. Oh, that's the one. I'm gonna go to that two star. Thank you. Genesis 19:8. I'm gonna stick a pin in that one. Abram didn't trust God at that moment and took matters into his own hand. Yes, because he definitely told her, he told his wife, make sure you say this and make sure you act this way and don't let people know that you're my wife, because if they know you my wife, then that's gonna be the end of me. And so she, they saw her when they got there and they were like, she's a beautiful woman, and then she ended up being somebody's wife, which I was like, wait a minute, hold up a second. He let it really go to the point where I'm gonna find it so you all don't think I'm making stuff up. It's so Abram went as the Lord told him. Lot went with him. Okay, so he took his wife Sarah, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, the people they had acquired, and Haran. Okay, go down. Let's scan down to verse 10. Okay, yep, it's around verse 10. Okay, Abram. This is when he was in Egypt. Abram didn't trust God at that moment and took matters in his own hand. God didn't approve that lie. No, he didn't approve because it was just a lie, flat out lie. He caused trouble for the people he lied to. Yep, he sure did. I know. I'm sorry, y'all. It's like I'm having a conversation with, you all in real time about my thoughts and starts bringing up some of these things that I was actually thinking about too. So hopefully you all are keeping up. If you don't understand what we're saying, just drop some comments in the comment section and ask the comments, because then I can just backtrack. I can know that people aren't following, because I really don't know if you're picking down what we're putting up unless you say something. I know Star's picking down what I'm putting up because she's commenting. So comment, and then I know you picking it up. So it says, now there was a famine in the land. This is verse 10, still chapter 12, verse 10. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while because the famine was severe. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarah, I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Then they will then they will unalive. I think that's the word we're supposed to use here. Then they will unalive me, but will let you live. So they'll unalive me, but they're going to let you live because you're beautiful, right? They're going to do what they got to do. So then in verse 12, no, it's 13. 13. Say you are my sister. When I first read this, I was like, oh, he tripping. This is not my first time reading this story. Every other time I read it, I felt the same way. Like, oh, he told his wife to do that. So he's like, then they will, unalive me. So say you are my sister so that I will be treated well. For your sake and my life will be spared because of you. He says, so I will be treated well. I wonder if he knew ahead of time that they were going to give him like these possessions and money before he said, tell them that you're my sister. Because why else would he have said, say you are my sister so that I will be treated well for your sake? Or is he just saying so that I'll be treated well, like, well, they won't do something to me? Or is he saying so I'll be treated well, like I'm going to acquire possessions and they won't do anything to me? Which one do you all think? Y'all think it's both? Or do y'all think it's all of the above, or just one or two? He caused trouble for the people he lied to. He did cause trouble because he ended up getting them into we're going to read about it. I'm going to go to that verse so you all can hear it for yourself, because I'm not making stuff up. See, if you want something dramatic in your life, Genesis 12, okay? And God sent plagues to that place because of his lie. See, we didn't even get to that part yet. Hey, Frugal Mama. Hey, how you doing? Good morning, good morning. This thing going to shut off, isn't it? Uh-oh. I might have to get my charger. See, because I'm looking at my Bible verses on my laptop. So it's, let's see. When Abram, just like he said, when Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that Sarah was a very beautiful woman. And when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken into his palace. See, y'all hear this? She was taken to his palace because Abram said, tell them you my sister, not my wife. I'm gonna be treated well because of you. Now the Egyptians see her and they like, oh, she's beautiful, and they tell Pharaoh how beautiful she is, and then they take her to the palace. Now keep on listening. He treated Abram well for her sake. This is the well that he was talking about before they even took her. He knew they were going to treat him well. So he treated Abram well for her sake. And Abram, this is the NIV, you all. This is the NIV. So he treated Abram well for her sake. And Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. Hold on, let me keep going. But the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife Sarah. Now, this is what Star I think was talking about, and also the part that I was like, oh, okay, so Abram is the one that started all this stuff, right? He's the one that told people to lie, and he benefited from the lie, and then people started getting inflicted with serious disease. I'm just going to tell you what it says from here. Inflicted with serious diseases because they were doing things outside of what God permitted, right? But God didn't tell Abram to tell them that. He took it upon himself to make that up and say, hey, this is what we should do because I want to spare my life, basically, right? So he told her to do that. And in him doing that, he caused all this other stuff to happen. Okay, let me see what the chat is saying. Hi, Star. Hi, Wellness with Frugal Mama. Star, Abram lost faith in God's protection. He thought they would unalive him. That's why he lied. Yes, he did. That's exactly right. He thought, and this is just fresh in my mind because I just read it this morning. I read it early this morning. Hey, Frugal. So, yeah, he was, I don't know, do y'all, ooh, because this will get too juicy and we won't be able to talk about all this today without going into a 2-3 hour thing. So I'm gonna just do a survey real quick and then we can see what you all think. I'm gonna just ask a real simple question. All right, boom. I won't even put I will put punctuation. I wasn't gonna do it at first, but I'll do it. So that's it right here. According to what I just read, tell me what you think. What's your answer to the survey? I can't answer because it won't allow me to. I don't know why. But maybe, let me see if I can do it from here. No, I can't do it. So, was Abram selfish? Hey, Miss Lynn. Miss Lynn, this is going to be perfect for you. You're going to love this conversation. And I got to stop in a minute because I know I got to let you all out of here. But, Miss Lynn, we're talking about Genesis 12. I started out talking about I had to reset, but you can you just watch the beginning part and you'll hear about that. But this part, Genesis, is the important part, the Bible, right? So we're talking about Genesis 12, the whole chapter. Don't worry about the verses, just the whole chapter. And this is the summary. God told Abram to go. You know that part. God told Abram to go. Abram went, right, to a place that was unknown. God said, don't worry about all the details. I'm going to show you and I'm going to tell you what to do, right? Just go. Leave your family, leave your friends, leave your connections. Just go, right? So Abram goes there. And then on his way, like he takes Lot, his nephew, right? He takes Lot with him and they set up shop. And then they're on their way to Egypt. And then Abram, this is the part we're on right now. Fast forward. Abram tells his wife, Sarah, Miss Lynn, what do you think about this? Hello, Miss Lynn. Abram tells his wife, Sarah, you're a beautiful woman. We all know you're beautiful. We got eyes. Everybody know that. You're a beautiful woman. So in order to keep me here on this earth, I'm going to need you to lie and say you're my sister. Don't tell people you're my wife, right? So he wanted her to lie and tell people that she was his sister, not his wife. And then when they went to Egypt, the Egyptians saw her and was like, oh, you're beautiful and blah, blah, blah. And they took her back to the palace. For Pharaoh's palace. And I'm just saying, like, okay, I wonder what Abram was thinking when they took her back to the palace, because it didn't say they took him. They could have taken him too. I don't know. It just said they took her to the palace. So that means they weren't together at a certain point. They just took her to the palace, right? They ain't take him to the palace. So Miss Lynn and everybody else, y'all answer the chat. Do y'all think he was selfish for asking her to lie, or do y'all not? Let me see what you all are saying. Whoa, okay. 50-50. 50% say yes, and 50% say no. I think I have an idea why the people said no. I got an idea why the people said yes. You all, if I could vote, I would say yes. I think that's selfish because he put his wife in a position that, That'd be like me telling my husband to tell people, oh, I'm just tell people you my brother. What kind of that's I don't know. I didn't live back in that day, so I can't really speak to the time and why he said that. But I just was like, why he did that? So I don't know. I thought he was selfish. He kind of did what Lot did. Oh shucks. Hello everybody in the chat. He was very selfish. Yeah, I think so, Miss Lynn. He lost faith in God at that moment. That's what caused him to say that. So can we say it was him being selfish or him just being faithless? Like he had a lack of faith because he didn't know what was going to happen next. Ooh, you are. Maybe he was, okay, maybe he felt stuck. Maybe God didn't tell him then, like, what the next step to do was. So maybe he was like, okay, I don't know what to do. He didn't know what to do because he took matters into his own hands, right? Obviously. So maybe he was like, I don't know what to do. God didn't quite show me what to do yet. Because remember, God said in the beginning, verse 1, I will show you, right? I will show you. My interpretation of I will show you is I will show you what you're supposed to be doing next, right? Or I'll be showing you what to do at the appointed time. So maybe God hadn't shown him what to do with the next step, hadn't shown him what to do next. So he was like, okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Maybe we got to go to this land. I already know they're going to think she's beautiful. This is going to happen. So I'm just going to say, I'm just going to try to figure it out. This is what I think we should do, right? So he told her, and he tried to work it out to the best of his ability. Sometimes we do the same thing. Don't sometimes we do that? We don't know what to do next, so we try to figure it out and then mess it up. He did the same thing. He was trying to figure it out and messed it up. Oh, STARR. I was going to say I should have asked you to text my mama. Oh, wait, I picked the right one. I noticed I said pick. Let me see what you said. He lost faith in God at that moment. He kind of did what I did. They were both being selfish to me. I picked the wrong one. What wrong one, Lula? He didn't trust God. Right, Miss Lynn? See, that's two of y'all in the chat saying that. Three of us. I'm adding myself there. He didn't trust God. He didn't trust God because he was making up stuff. And, we should say this. And now they in a jam. Well, he might have thought they was in a jam, but they're in a jam because now you got your wife in this dude's palace. That's your wife. I don't know about y'all, but my husband ain't about to be in somebody else's palace. Forget that. My husband, look, you got a palace over here. What you doing over there in Pharaoh's palace? And what was Abram? I don't know. I'm married, so I just think about what was Abram feeling when his wife was in the palace? Like, I would be thinking all types of stuff. Like, what is my husband up there doing? What are they doing to him? Who's trying to, they already thought she was beautiful, right? So it don't take us much imagination to figure things out. If they thought she was beautiful and they made it known and they thought that was his sister and they were giving him things because they thought there was a connection, like, oh, I'm going to try to make him happy because this is his sister. So he probably has some influence over his sister. That's that man's wife. And they were probably, what I'm saying? Like, they're in the palace doing things you can do in the palace. I'll just say that. So I'm thinking like, my husband not about to be in the palace doing stuff, and I don't know what's happening. That's just me. Am I alone in that? If you're married, this is the time when you can weigh in. What do you think about that? Would you want your husband in the palace or your wife, let's just say significant other, right? Would you want your significant other in the palace with some people that you don't even know, and they already think that your spouse is beautiful or handsome, right? They already said that. So do you want them in the palace with them? That's all I want to know. And I'm going to read these comments. Hey, Lynn, it is selfish to not trust God. It is. In caps. I-S. So make sure y'all saw that properly. It is selfish. Wait on the Lord. Wait, I say. Right. Yes. Wait, I say. Hello, Frugal Mama. They were angry with Abram because he put them in a bad position with his decision. And he did. He sure did. He put them in a very bad position with his decision. I feel like y'all saying some more. So, yeah, what do you all think? Married people, if you want to answer, maybe I'll make a poll. Maybe I should make a poll. Hi. Hey, Loki. Frugally. See, I don't know. I don't want to put the married people on the spot. So, just if you come in and you're in team replay, you can answer in the comment section. I will put it in a survey. That's what I'll do. I could do a survey. I'm going to end this poll. So in the poll, the question I just asked, was Abram selfish? No, 62%. Yes, 37%. Okay. I like when y'all do. I like these polls now. Let me see. You know what? I don't know if I'm gonna focus on capitalization and stuff like that. I'm just gonna type this out. Mm, oops. Oh, I might not have. Okay, I'm just okay. So we know what we're talking about according to this live. We know what discussion we're having. So I'm just gonna say, would you want your spouse in the palace? And you know what I'm talking about because we just discussed this. So what we were just talking about, think about those things that we are talking about. Why, the wife that went to the palace, Sarah, when she's in the palace, and I said I would not want my husband in the palace with anybody because he's supposed to be in my palace, right? He's supposed to be at my place. So I'm asking this question, and then you can just say yes or no. Would you want your spouse in the palace? Now think about the stuff we talked about, and then answer the question. Okay, that's just the background story. Ooh, what did I just do? Okay, it went through, but I think I pressed some extra. Okay, let me see. Ah, oh, Clarington, hi. And keep reading because Sarah did the same thing when she offered Hagar. And now, oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lord. This is going to be a part two. This is going to be a part two. Y'all, it's an hour and 10 minutes. Uh-oh. We're an hour and 10 minutes in. Let me see. I got 32% remaining. Okay, we good. Um, Oh, Lordy Lord. We have wars years later because of Abram and Sarah mistrusting God. Man, that's what I'm saying. It's so much to this story. Like, this just a part of it. This is what this is where it started. Well, this is where it started in the Bible. Like, this is the part we get to be privy to and a witness to. This is only a piece of their story because Star's right. It's more. It's more to come. And we might have to talk about this. I'm black. Low key Frankie. I'm back. Oh, I thought you said I'm black. Clara, it says I'm back. No palace action here. Exactly. I'm with you on that stuff. Forget that. Ain't no nope. That's my spouse. Ain't nobody ain't no. That's just the answer. That's a clean answer. No. I was being bullied, so I had to change my stuff. That's right. You said that, Claire. I was always wondering where you've been. I'm here now. Okay, welcome back. Yay! Don't let the bullies bother you. They're bullies for a reason. They are jealous. Yeah, you go ahead and keep on speaking to her, Lula. You go ahead and talk to her. So yeah, I'm no nobody that I'm married to is going to the palace. Nobody else's palace. No, we're not doing that. So you're right. You are. Um, we could continue with this story, but we won't. We don't have the time to do that, do we? Because I gotta let you all out of here. Because I respect your time. Maybe we can finish this out. We can finish it on Monday. I'll be back Monday, 10 a.m. unless God tells me to reset again. Hopefully I can get everything taken care of today. Well, a good portion of the rest of the things taken care of today. But in the meantime, I'll see you all later. Yes, Star said yes, yes, y'all. I think you're saying yes to finish the rest of this on Monday because this thing is good. And you all know I love to have discussions with you. You like my journal, right? Or when I have questions, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I process it while I'm talking to you in the chat, and we're able to answer the questions together. Just imagine this as being your Bible study. That's what we're doing. I did. Yes, I wasn't sure what I was answering. So yes, 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 yes. We will finish it Monday. So Genesis 12. Just put a pin in it. Genesis 12, and then we'll work our way from that point because we didn't even touch what Star was talking about. That's a whole nother part. But you are read Genesis 12 and then read to that part what she's talking about. Hey Eric, you in there listening? Hey Eric, how you doing? How you doing with the trees over there? So yeah, we'll revisit this because I don't want to hold you all much longer. I've already been on here over an hour, so I'm gonna stop. It's time to be quiet. Sit down, be quiet. I said what I had to say. We'll be back Monday. Genesis chapter 12 and beyond. We'll just see how far we can get. I'm not gonna rush through it. Resetting over here, right? We're gonna reset together. We don't have to rush through things anymore. Let's take it slow. It's like a fine wine. I don't drink wine really, but that's what I hear. So we're gonna take it slow and work our way through these chapters together and do studying. We're gonna study together, learn together, because I think it has more of an impact when we do it that way. We don't have to cram a whole bunch of Bible stories in scriptures and chapters just for the sake of saying I read the Bible. I don't believe that that's how it should be done. Just my opinion. You can put yours in the comment section. See you all Monday. Have a great weekend, and we're gonna continue this wonderful conversation. All right, Genesis 12. Have a good one. See you all later. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, foodie.